All right, ladies and gentlemen, guys, I'd like to welcome you to the show. This is your host of the evening, DJJustJayOK with Just Dimes ENT. This little girl right here, we're going to talk about her and her family. Now, this story is very, very twisted. It is a unique story. It's definitely something different than we've done here before. It's very convoluted. It has a lot of layers to it. I think that you guys are going to enjoy this, whether you watch it live or whether you watch it on the replay, okay? So here we go. Now, family members had to, I don't know why that does that. Sorry about that. Because I've got these pictures grown. Okay, here we go. Now, family members have identified the 5-year-old girl who was fatally shot Thursday night during a home invasion in the 19,000 block of Lynen Street. Now, her name was, that little girl right there on my right-hand side, her name is Isabella Coleman. Okay? Isabella Coleman, age 5. Was sleeping in bed when someone broke into her home and fired a weapon, according to police. Now, a woman and the girl were struck. Now, an armed black male came into the home and fired shots, said Detroit Police Commander Elaine Bryant. The armed black male fled. We're just not sure if it was on foot or in a vehicle or in what direction. Now, police did not wait for emergency services and took the 5-year-old girl to Sinai Grace Hospital, where she later died from her injuries. That little girl right there. So just to get you guys to understand, we advocate for children first here at the So Do You Dig, first and foremost. Thank you very much, Megan. And so what happened was, instead of them waiting for medical to get there, the police actually just took the girl in their own police car, which is commendable of them for that. Now, the story is going to get very, very twisted here in a little bit, because as much as the police seem like they did a good thing here, there was some things that maybe they had some missteps, okay? So here we go. Now, the mother was taken to the ambulance to Sinai Grace, and she's listed in stable condition, which is incredible. That lady right there, and her name is Deja Coleman, and it's spelled really weird. Her name is spelled Dejiza. Like, the name spelling is, you know, unbelievable. You know, I don't know why that thing keeps showing a blank pictures there, so I have to apologize to you guys. Let me see if I can correct that real quick, and I'll just fix it on the replay. Okay, so sorry about that. Let me see if I can fix it. So I'll just cut that little section out on the replay. Okay. All right, so here we go. Now, a news conference is expected, and they did have a news conference. Now, Dietrich Driver, age 46, was the gentleman. Let me back up and see if I can get him on the screen. No, that's not actually him. Okay, no, that's not him. Let's keep going. Dietrich Driver, age 46, was shot and killed by the police Friday morning while officers were executing a search warrant at a home in the 9200 block of Evergreen Road in Detroit. And family members said Driver is a relative of Coleman and her mother. So that might have been the right picture. I think I have the right picture of him up. Okay. Now, police said Driver was on the couch armed with an AR pistol when officers entered the home. Now, Detroit Police Captain Kurt Warboys, which is a crazy name, his name is spelled Warboys, said officers neutralized the situation and officer fired at Driver, killing him. That gentleman right there on my screen, right there. Let's back up so you can see him. That guy right there. Okay? Now, here's the rest of the story. Now, Detroit police said a tragic chain of events began with the murder of the 5-year-old girl and shooting of her mother before and ending with a deadly officer-involved shooting. Okay? Now, the mother and her child were shot Thursday night at the home on Lynen Street in Detroit, police said. A short time later, police executing a search warrant connected to the case used deadly force, killing someone inside a house on Evergreen Road. And this is, and the reason why that's such a big deal is because of the fact that they believe that the gentleman was innocent and didn't actually have anything to do with this at all, which is where Black Lives Matter comes in. Okay? Yes, an AR pistol. The difference between an AR rifle and an AR pistol is going to be classified by way of the length. If it's shorter than a certain length, then it's classified as a pistol. If it's longer, it's classified as a rifle. Okay? Now, friends and family were devastated by what the police described as a, quote, execution-style shooting of 5-year-old Isabella Coleman. Now, I want you guys that are watching the show to tell me, why do you think, or what do you think prompted someone to execution-style shoot a 5-year-old? What do you guys think potentially could have been the reason why they did this? That little girl right there. What would be the reason somebody would have shot her execution style? What do you think that she did in life that was that bad that somebody needed to take that 5-year-old beautiful little girl's life? Okay? All I know is that Izzy's gone. Isabella. Family friend Alicia Walters said she should be going to kindergarten now. Officials said a masked gunman stood over the girl around 10 p.m. Thursday while she was in bed with her mother at the London home, at the Lynen Avenue home. Now, her mother, Deja Coleman, was shot 17 times, according to authorities. Let me see if I can get the mother's picture up on the screen. Right there. This woman was shot 17 times. Put a pin in that. I actually have my pen today. Take a pen, put it in that part of the story. We'll come back to that, okay? Now, the gunman then shot Isabella, killing her, according to Detroit Police Chief James Craig. Now, police placed the 5-year-old girl in the rear seat of the police car, Craig said, and the officer got in the back and held her, and the way it was described to me is she still had somewhat of a pulse. So she was trying to hang on. Keep in mind, this little girl was shot in bed. She was 5 years old. Now, police said the motive behind the shooting was a well-known sibling rivalry between Coleman and her sister. Did you guys catch that? 85 people watching, do me a favor, hit the thumbs up. More people will know that we're here. So if we got 85 watching, can we at least get 80 thumbs up, 85 thumbs up? Is that too much to ask? We only had like 4 people donate to the show. And for everybody else, just hit the thumbs up. That's simple. Please. Okay? The motive behind this shooting was a well-known sibling rivalry between Coleman, Deja Coleman, that girl right there, and her sister. Shot 17 times in bed with her daughter. They had a sister rivalry, but they still lived in the same house, so they had to get along, Walters said. Did you guys catch that? They had a sister rivalry, but they still lived in the same house with children. So they had to get along, Walters said. We know that it was an ongoing family dispute among sisters, Craig said. Detroit police arrested Coleman's sister at another family home 2 miles away on Evergreen Road. But as officers went into the house, they said they encountered Dietrich Driver, age 46, who was armed with a high-powered weapon. If you have another pen, I want you guys to take another pen, put it in that part of the story. We're going to bookmark that, and we're going to come back to that. I got both of my pens today, all right? Officers went into the house, and the house that they went to, they found the sister at that house. Keep in mind, that the other sister, Deja Coleman, was shot 17 times in bed with her child, who was age 5, who was shot, tried to hang on. That little beautiful little girl right there tried to hang on the best that she could, that her body could, and she died in the back of a police car because they tried to hurry and rush and get that girl there. And they said that this is a well-known rivalry. Well-known. So they're saying that this was inspired by that rivalry. They go to find the girl that was the cause of this happening. Not only did they find her, but they find someone there with a gun, an AR pistol. So let me ask you guys a question before we move into the rest of the story, because it is about to get a shit ton crazier. Are you guys ready for this? Guess who showed up also after this happened? You ready for it? Black Lives Matter. Hashtag BLM is in the building. Black Lives Matter showed up. Why? Because there was a black man that was shot by the police. The only reason they showed up, not because this beautiful little girl, Isabella, was shot in bed and murdered and killed, not because Deja Coleman was shot 17 times. No. Apparently those black lives don't matter. Apparently black lives don't matter when black people are taking lives. No, apparently that does not matter as much as the police going to serve a search warrant to go find the sister that had something to do with all this bullshit, and they go find her. They found her. And they also found a gentleman that was armed. So if somebody just got shot 17 times and they just shot a 5-year-old dead, then what do you think, and know that the sister had something to do with this, what do you think is going to happen when you show up to this house? You think that they're not going to be armed and dangerous? Do you really think that they're just going to come out with their hands up? Don't shoot, hands up, don't shoot, hands up. We're not armed, we have no weapons. No, he's armed and ready. Why? Because of whatever bullshit that they just did or had something to do with. No, this is not fake news. I looked it up, and guess what? I actually have some videos to back me up. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to give you guys the last little bit of this story, okay, before I show you guys the video. They knew it was an ongoing family dispute among sisters. Now, Detroit police arrested Coleman's sister, and I wish they would have gave us her name, at another home 2 miles away. And then they encountered Dietrich Driver, who was armed with a high-powered weapon, which was an AR pistol. An AR. Come on, man. Now, Driver, who is the father of 2, is the step-uncle to Coleman and her sister, police said. And he was fatally shot by the officers. But here's the thing. If they were looking for expletive, was what they said, all they had to do was knock on the door, Driver's brother, Daryl Driver, said. I would have gladly opened the door and let them in. You killed my brother for nothing. Put a pin in that part of the story. We'll come back to that part, okay? Now, family members said it's unfair that Isabella would never get to grow up because of the actions of the adults. We're going to add something additional to that. Because of the actions of black adults. Since Black Lives Matter wants to get involved, we're going to say this is a black matter that caused other races of people, including police officers, to have to show up and fix black problems. So Black Lives Matter, why is it that black people don't value their own lives? They don't value children. They don't value family members, apparently. Let's keep this going. For Izzy to be gone and for us to have to bury Izzy is unbelievable, Walters said. I agree. Deja Coleman is in critical condition, so as of right now, the mother is not dead. According to health officials, the officer involved in the shooting is on restricted duty, police said. Officers are reviewing body camera footage from the first search warrant. Police are continuing to search for suspects. So there's even more to this story that I got to give you guys. But before I do that, let me go ahead and give you guys the fair usage, and let's go ahead and start this first video. Federal law allows citizens to reproduce, distribute, or exhibit portions of copyrighted motion pictures, videotapes, or video discs under certain circumstances without the authorization of the copyright holder. This is called fair use and is allowed for purposes of criticism, news reporting, teaching, and parody, which doesn't infringe of copyright under 17 U.S.C. 107.
On our other top story, a wild chain of events begins with the murder of a 5-year-old and the shooting of her mother and ends with a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Let's walk you through it. The mother and her child were shot at a home on Lynen. Then a short time later, police executing a search warrant connected to the case used deadly force, killing someone inside the house on Evergreen. Let's get to Sean Lay live tonight. Sean, it's a little confusing and there certainly is a lot to unpack here, so we'll let you take us through it.
And Kimberly, here's the very latest. 2 people already in custody. I can tell you the search for more suspects is expanding. Take a look at this. Just moments ago, our cameras rolling as Detroit Police Special.
That's my apologies. You guys can't even see the damn video. So what we're going to do is we're going to cut that little section out on the replay. Now you guys can watch the video. Next time, y'all got to tell me if the pictures are still rolling. That's my bad. My bad. Y'all got to tell me y'all couldn't see it. My fault.
On our other top story, a wild chain of events begins with the murder of a 5-year-old and the shooting of her mother and ends with a deadly officer-involved shooting.
Let's walk you through it. The mother and her child were shot at a home on Lynen. Then a short time later, police executing a search warrant connected to the case used deadly force, killing someone inside the house on Evergreen. Let's get to Sean Lay live tonight. Sean, it's a little confusing and there certainly is a lot to unpack here, so we'll let you take us through it.
And Kimberly, here's the very latest. 2 people already in custody. I can tell you the search for more suspects is expanding. Take a look at this. Just moments ago, our cameras rolling as Detroit Police Special Response Team units served a search warrant on the home directly across the street from where little 5-year-old Isabella Coleman and her mother were shot late last night.
I want you guys to notice something. Now, what the brother tried to claim, which you guys don't know, so I'm kind of jumping ahead a little bit, is the brother tried to claim that the police did not properly identify themselves. But I'm going to tell you guys something. In this video, you can actually hear them identify themselves, and you're listening from a camera that was way across the street, let alone all of the officers that have on body cams, which they're actually going to get a hold of that footage also. But even I can hear them announce themselves as police. We have a search warrant. So I'm going to play it back again.
Expanding. Take a look at this. Just moments ago, our cameras rolling as Detroit Police Special Response Team units served a search warrant.
He said police search warrant. That's what they said after they hit the lock to knock the lock off.
On the home directly across the street from where little 5-year-old Isabella Coleman and her mother were shot late last night. The motive for this shooting is absolutely shocking.
But all I know is Izzy's gone. She should be going to kindergarten now.
Family and friends devastated tonight over what's described as the execution-style shooting of 5-year-old Isabella Coleman. 10 o'clock last night, a masked gunman stood over the little girl in bed with her mom here on Lynen. Mom, Deja Coleman, was shot 17 times. The gunman then shot the girl, known as Izzy.
Placed the 5-year-old in the rear seat of the police car. Officer got in the back and held her. And the way it was described to me, she still had somewhat of a pulse.
The shocking motive, a well-known sibling rivalry between Deja Coleman and her own sister.
Sister rivalry. But they still lived in the same house, so they still had to get along.
I want you guys to notice something. Tell me where the fathers are when you hear any mention of a father in this story, okay? Where are the fathers at? Where are the parents at? I don't know. These women are grown. They have a sibling rivalry and live in the same house. I just think it's all a bit odd. But I want you guys to hear that again.
And her own sister.
Sister rivalry. But they still lived in the same house, so they still had to get along.
We know that it was an ongoing family dispute among sisters.
Detroit police arresting that sister at another family home 2 miles away on Evergreen. But as police went in, they say they encountered 46-year-old Dietrich Driver, a father of 2, the step-uncle to the sisters involved. Police say he was armed with a high-powered weapon. Police fatally shot him.
Here's the thing. If they was looking for all they had to do was knock on my door. I would have gladly opened it up and let him in. Y'all killed my brother for nothing.
So this is not a wrong.
I want y'all to hear that again. Let's listen to this fool again, please.
Here's the thing. If they was looking for all they had to do was knock on my door. I would have gladly opened it up and let him in. Y'all killed my brother for nothing.
Weapon. Police fatally shot him.
Here's the thing. If they was looking for all they had to do was knock on my door. I would have gladly opened it up and let him in. Y'all killed my brother for nothing. Looking for all they had to do was knock on my door. I would have gladly opened it up and let him in. Y'all killed my brother for nothing.
So this is not a wrong.
They didn't kill his brother for nothing. They killed his brother for having an AR pistol when they had a legal search warrant to go search and find the sister. Keep in mind, they found the sister at the house where Dietrich Driver was with the AR pistol after the mother, Deja Coleman, got shot, as well as her daughter, Isabella Coleman, was in bed. Take all of the pens out of those books. We're going to bring them out right now. All right? Now, what they're trying to say is that this was a wrongful police killing. But why, though? The suspect that was involved in this entire thing, the sister, was hiding out at the house. Somebody in there had to have known what was going on. So was it the police's responsibility to figure out beforehand who's innocent and who's not when you know that you have a suspect in the house? No, it's those people that have that suspect in that house. It is their responsibility to make sure what's going on and to inform the people like, hey, such and such just happened, because I can guarantee you that that sister knew that something happened to her sister. If she didn't do it herself, she had somebody do it. They said that this is an ongoing family thing, so that the police had every right to think that their lives were in danger by going into that house and trying to apprehend the suspect. But wait, there's more coming of this story. What's going on to my brother Relationship Rehab? Good to see you in the building, my brother. What's up?
Wrong person. He was armed with a high-powered weapon.
For Izzy to be gone and for us to have to bury Izzy, it's unbelievable.
The mom now remaining in critical condition. The officer from the shooting, he's on restricted duty. Police now reviewing body camera footage from that first search warrant. And I'll also tell you guys, we just saw the search for suspects is continuing. Live on the west side, Sean Late, Local 4.
Okay, now, when it comes to them looking for more suspects, this is the problem. This is a huge problem. And I want to see what's going on, Running Star, Jerry, and Smiles and Twisted MD. What's up, guys? Here we go. Now, Detroit police have released 2 suspects who were arrested in the wake of last week's shooting that left a 5-year-old girl dead and her mother wounded. In the related case, Detroit detectives have rescued themselves from investigating an officer-involved fatal shooting that occurred during the search for the gunman who killed Isabella Coleman and shot her mother, Deja Coleman, as they lay in bed together in their home of the 19,000 block of Lynen. Meanwhile, here we go. Black Lives Matter advocates have launched an online campaign questioning the official story of how police officers investigating the Coleman shooting killed Dietrich Driver, also known by his Muslim name, which I damn sure can't pronounce, but it's in the actual tags. His name is Abdullah Abdul Muhiman. I don't know. Abdullah Abdul Muhiman. I don't know. Hopefully I pronounced that right. Now, Detroit Police Chief James Craig said that the shooting of Isabella and her mother Thursday night was sparked by a feud between the adult victim and her sister. Craig said someone shot Coleman 16 times, they said 17 initially, in the torso and upper extremities, because they were trying to apparently take her out for real, before firing a single round into Isabella's head. Several .22 caliber shell casings were found at the scene, he said. Where are my gun advocates at? Do we have any people that are gun advocates or anybody that is familiar with guns in the chat? I'm going to pause it on that weapon right there. Black Lives Matter is in the building, guys. I want you guys to tell me, what do you guys think about that? They said several .22 caliber shell casings were found at the scene. I want somebody to tell me, what type of rounds do AR pistols shoot? I want your gun advocate. Okay, good. Relationship Rehab, United Guns of America. Can one of you two guys tell me, what type of rounds do AR pistols shoot? Please, somebody tell me. I'm not a gun enthusiast, so I don't know. .223 and .22, I'm pretty sure is the same thing. So I'll wait for my brother to type that in. I know that you guys are a little bit behind me. Jamel said a .223 or a 308. .223, 223, 22, 18. They can be chambered in .223, 5.56, 22, and 300 blackout. Very good. I think Relationship Rehab has given us the most thorough answer. So thank everybody that's actually typing in the chat. And the reason I said that was because I wanted to make sure that I had at least somewhat of an idea about what I'm talking about. So now that we have taken all of our pens and taken it out of the book, now we're going to revisit some of these things. We're going to revisit some of these details. Here we go. They said that the sisters got into it with each other over something. Lord knows what that was. Who, at this point, we can't even say it was over a man. Knowing the fact that women tend to talk to other women too. It could have been over a girlfriend. Nobody knows. It could have been over money. It could have been over a hair weave. How many times have we seen our sisters killing each other over hair weaves? We've seen this happen, right? Am I just making this up? When you guys watch this on the replay, you can tell me in the comment section, am I just making this up? Have we not, as black people, killed each other over the stupidest things? Over the smallest things? Over the dumbest details? Over things that really don't matter? Right? So here we go. There was a dispute that happened. Someone kicked in her door, stood over her, and shot her. And there were, as they report, several .22 .22 caliber shell casings, several. So if she was hit 16 to 17 times and that baby was hit once, you're talking about between 18 to 20, maybe more, maybe slightly less, but let's say it was at least 17. .22 caliber shell casings were found all over the place. They go look for the sister, and the sister just so happens to be in the house with Dietrich Driver, who was armed with a AR pistol right there. That one. That happens to be able to hold .22 caliber shells. Is that a fucking coincidence? Am I just that lucky, or am I that crazy, or is this like an unbelievable coincidence that the brother is trying to defend his own brother by saying, well, if they wanted to come knock on the door, you know, they killed an innocent man. They could have let us know. They could have just knocked on the door. And the dude is armed with the same type of gun that they found shell casings for, and knowing that all of this is interconnected to each other, and knowing that the sister had a problem, and knowing they were looking to arrest the sister and found the sister in the house, and just so happened to found an asshole sitting there with a freaking AR pistol that can use .22 caliber shells. But because Black Lives Matter saw that the police shot a black man, now they want to show up. And they're going to make no apologies when they find out that they're wrong about this and find out that the police actually did everything within the parameters of their job title and did everything correct. This is all over money at the end of the day. Black Lives Matter is ran by white people, not black. So why are white people saying that Black Lives Matter, knowing that black lives are killing more black lives than any police officers, let alone white police officers? It's almost a non-existent number. We're so worried about that, but we're not worried about all the kids and all the young adults and all the young men, young boys, young men that are killing each other relentlessly in Chicago, in all of these small fatherless homes, in these fatherless communities. Are we starting to put all of this together now? It is not ran by us, but they always show up when it has something to do with a white police officer. So clearly, if black people were as intelligent as they say they are, and since the black community is ran by black women, then let's just get on to the black women, our leaders. Since you're the leaders, we're going to get on to you because you say that you're the leaders, you're the backbone of the black community. If you don't want to be the leaders, step off, let us address somebody else. But since you're claiming that you're the leaders and you're the backbone and you are the heads of household and y'all are running shit, let me address you guys. How is it that you guys haven't figured out the fact that they clearly don't give a shit about black lives when black lives are taking out more black lives every single day, being shot down in the street, and they're not solving the murders at all? They're not solving the murders. They're not solving the murders in Chicago. But one police officer mishandle, misspeak, misstep, miss anything. And now we're having a rally and we're shutting down highways and businesses and we're protesting gun shops and we're talking about, well, what about the school shootings and what about this and that? Like, really? We're going to attack the law-abiding citizens that are upholding their Second Amendment rights to bear arms legally. But the people that have the goddamn guns that are killing each other have them illegally. So why are you attacking legal people? You take away the guns from the legally binding, law-abiding citizens, and what do you have? Do you eliminate the problem? No, the fuck you don't. What you now have is a bunch of defenseless people that cannot defend themselves from the outlaws who operate outside, not in line with the parameters of the law. Now you are putting yourself at risk of being a victim at any point in time. But why won't they address the people that have the shit illegally? Why? Why are there no solutions for the people that have the guns illegally? Stop attacking law-abiding citizens. We want to be able to protect ourselves, and goddammit, that's our right to be able to do that. If somebody kicks in my door, I ought to have the right to defend myself. I shouldn't have to sit there, oh shoot, here come the criminals. Oh crap, they're coming in, and let me grab my cell phone and hope that I can dial 911 fast enough Hope that they pick up. Hope that I don't get some ghetto black chick on the phone that's more concerned about her hair appointment that she's about to be late for. And instead of taking my call and hanging up on me, as we know that there have been a number of black women that have been fired for hanging up and not taking 911 calls importantly. And if I don't get one of those, then hope that the police get here quick enough. And if I'm in a high crime area, then we're going to already know that the police are probably not going to get to those areas fast enough. That's what I'm supposed to wait on? When I have my children, when I have my wife, when I have myself, when I have my property, when I have everything that you want me to pay fucking taxes on. You want me to pay property taxes. You want me to pay sales taxes. You want me to pay bridge taxes. You want me to pay pipeline taxes. You want me to pay taxes for all of these expensive things that the city wants to do. But yet you won't even protect the assets that we work our assets off for? I'm going to say that again. I like the way that sounds. They won't even allow us. We're not asking the police to defend us, protect us. We're not asking them to do anything. What we're saying is let us defend ourselves, but you won't even allow us the God-given right to protect our assets and cover our own assets. That's insane. And yes, that's another mic drop. We're going to have to start capturing these mic drop moments, and we're going to have to post them separately. Let's keep going. So at this point, it remains unclear as to whether the gunman meant to kill the child, Craig said. And why does that even matter? It remains unclear whether the gunman meant to kill the child. They absolutely meant to kill the goddamn child. That's stupid. They shot the mother 16 times and shot another time at the kid, killing the kid. How did they not mean to do that? How did they not? I'm sorry. I'm getting worked up. Sorry. Let me calm down. Okay, here we go. How did the criminal that kicked in Deja Coleman's door did not mean to kick in the door, did not mean to walk into her house, breaking and entering, didn't mean to do that, didn't mean to go into the bedroom, didn't mean to stand over her, didn't mean to unload on her and her kid? How is there any question to any of that? That's weird. But here we go. Police arrested Coleman's sister and another male relatively shortly after the shooting. But the two suspects, get this, were released Sunday because there wasn't enough evidence to charge them, Craig said. By releasing them, that doesn't mean they're ruled out as suspects, but we can't keep them in custody beyond 48 hours without charging them, Craig said. The investigation is still open. Coleman is recovering in Sinai Grace Hospital, which is the Deja Coleman chick, the one that got shot 16 times. Deputy Chief David LaValle said. He said investigators interviewed her the night of the incident. Her condition was unclear Tuesday. Hours after the Coleman shooting, investigators got a tip that the suspect was holed up in a house in the 3200 block of Evergreen, Craig said. Members of the Detroit Police Special Response Team secured a search warrant from a Wayne County judge and raided the West Side house. I'm going to say that last part again. They secured a search warrant. I want you guys to remember that. Craig said the response team officers announced their presence, which we saw on tape right there. They deployed a flashbang grenade, which we saw on tape, and went inside. Craig said driver, who was lying on the was lying on the living room couch, aimed a gun at the officers. The team's point man fired several shots, killing driver, Craig said. The department's homicide task force, made up of Detroit and Michigan State Police investigators, usually look into shootings involving Detroit cops, but the task force also handles homicides of children, Since the squad helped investigate the Coleman shooting, it created a conflict, said Craig. Now, during a meeting with Wayne County prosecutors over the weekend, they recommended we let MSP investigate this case alone because the task force was involved in the initial investigation, Craig said. So they're talking about a bunch of legal stuff. I agree with the prosecutors, and we handled the investigation off to MSP, Flint Post. State Police spokesman Lieutenant Michael Shaw said the state investigation is underway. The case went to the 3rd District Investigative Response Team Saturday, and when they finish with the investigation, they'll turn their findings over to the Wayne County prosecutors, Shaw said. Now, Assistant Wayne County Prosecutor Maria Miller added, "We believe that it's best that DPD not handle the investigation because some of their officers were on the task force. Usually in this situation, these are given to Michigan State Police, and that's eventually what happened." As officers armed with search warrants prepared to enter the home on Evergreen, Craig said body-worn camera footage shows cops yelled, quote, "search warrant," and deployed a flashbang grenade before breaching the front door, which we saw on tape. And I'm going to show you guys that tape again. Okay? Now, Craig said the video footage he reviewed from the lead officer's body-worn camera was too dark to determine what happened, although he said another officer's camera captured a pistol-grip AR-15 style weapon lying on the floor next to Driver. Now, Driver's family has launched an online campaign questioning the police account of this shooting. Driver has converted to Islam and has changed his name to Abdullah Abdul Muhiman, right? Although he was known by his nickname Dula Beard, said his oldest brother Jabril Salam, which was the yellow dude that you'll see on tape here in a minute. Right now, everything is up in the air, he said. There's an ongoing investigation, so there's not much to say. Everything is numb right now and emotions are high. We've still got to bury a baby and my little brother, and we have another death in the family. Dawad Walid, director of Michigan chapter of the Council on American Islamic Relations, said his organization is looking into Muhimman's shooting. "We are in the process of investigating this matter further," Walid said. "I can't go into further details, but we're investigating this and representing the interests of the family." Now, Twitter posters using the hashtag Justice for Dula Beard claim police went into the wrong house, which they did not, because they actually arrested the sister who was who they were looking for, who they had a search warrant for. I want you guys to keep that in mind. "This is awful," posted Namira Islam, a Metro Detroit attorney and executive director of the Muslim Anti-Racism Coalition. "Detroit police mistakenly entered the wrong home and killed Abdullah Beard just a few days ago," which is not true. And they said hashtag Black Lives Matter. "Please amplify this call for justice and donate to cover funeral costs and support the family." As of Tuesday afternoon, the post gotten 365 likes and has been retweeted 556 times. A crowdfunding campaign, which I'm going to show you guys here on the screen in a moment, on launchgood.com, so they're not using GoFundMe, has raised more than $8,600 to help the driver's family with funeral expenses. Now, Craig insisted while Driver may not have been the man police were looking for, there was no mistake. All right. Now, we've got a search warrant authorized by a judge who decided we had probable cause, which I agree. We arrested a person of interest at the location, which actually validates their probable cause. Now, a Jeep that was seen leaving the homicide scene was found at the same location where the warrant was served. So the car that they were looking for was there also. So there's a bunch of different things right there. Now, unfortunately, while Driver wasn't the suspect in the killing of the 5-year-old girl, as of yet, I'm going to say that, he created a situation where he pointed the gun at the officers, Craig said. The officers didn't know who he was, and all they knew was that he was pointing the gun at them, so they stopped the threat. "We don't want to have any reason to believe Driver was involved in the shooting of Isabella and her mother," Craig said. "So he wasn't a target, but the minute he pointed a gun at the police officers, that was a game changer." Now, Craig said 10 packets of heroin were found at the house. It appeared to be packaged for sale, he said. Kitten paws, they are using something new. Let me see if I can go back to that. Hold on just a second. They're using a crowdfunding campaign at launch, LAUNCHGOOD.com, launchgood.com. So apparently I don't know, they're using a different type of crowdfunding technique. So I'm assuming that's probably for a reason, but nonetheless, that's what they're using. They're not using GoFundMe. They're using something completely different. They said they found 10 packets of heroin at the house, and it appeared to be packaged for sale. So maybe this has something to do with a drug deal. All right. Now, Driver had a 2009 federal conviction for carrying a concealed weapon and was involved in a 2007 insurance fraud case, Craig said. He was also charged with another crime under the Holmes Youthful Trainee Act, although details were suppressed. The officer involved in the fatal shooting, a 20-year veteran, has been placed on paid leave and is seeing a psychologist, which is standard procedure in officer-involved shootings, Craig said. Now, the chief said the officer has not been involved in any shootings during his 7 years on the special response team, but 4 years into his career, while at the 8th precinct, he did fire his gun at a suspect. Craig said he was exonerated in that case. Now, Friday's incident was the fifth shooting by an on-duty officer this year and the first fatality, police said. Okay? What you guys think about this again? Black Lives Matter showed up only because the police shot a man and a black man in this case. The police had a search warrant to go to the house that he was shot in. The police had probable cause, which the judge agreed with. Everybody apparently knew that these siblings had some type of serious rivalry. These are grown-ass women. So there were drugs found, there was heroin found, there was this ongoing dispute. It had to have been over something for somebody to come in and shoot her 16 to 17 times and kill her baby right there in the bed, kicking her door in. But yet we want to say it's the police's fault. Come on, black people. Come on, black community. For what's left of you guys that have some morality and some truth and logic in your bones, come on, guys. We got to stop pointing the finger at everybody else when we continue to keep creating our own problems and get mad when other races of people have to come in and clean up our shit. Okay? We create the problems, other people have to come in and clean it up. So if we clean up our own problems or stop perpetuating our own problems, then these type of things won't happen. These type of so-called injustices won't happen. And you know what? I don't blame them out there in Chicago for just continuing to just let these fools continue to kill each other. I'm pretty sure that if they wanted to, just like Mayor Rahm Emanuel could have let the president step in and bring the SWATs in and clear the masses out, but he didn't. The Democrats don't want this to stop, guys. They don't. The Democrats have never cared about you guys. So I don't know why black people continue to tell me that, you know what, President Trump, this and that, and whoop-de-whoop, and blah, blah, blah. When your problems are local, your problem is next door. Your problem are the people that you know. You don't know the president. You don't know any actual political leaders in the government, but you don't even know the ones that are in your local government, in your counties, in your city, in your own state. The ones that can actually create change for you. It is important to vote. It is important to uphold your Second Amendment rights to bear arms, get your license, get trained, hold your weapon, and use your weapon responsibly according to the law. Protect yourself, protect your family, and be responsible. All right? That is my 2 cents. I want to thank you guys for coming through to the show. I'm going to cut it right there because that is a mouthful. Thank you guys so much for everything that you guys have been doing, continuing to support the show. At this point, all I want you guys to do is continue to like, share, and subscribe to the show. Continue to keep seeing those numbers grow. And I want to make sure that when I do these videos, I just want people to watch them for the most part, okay? So y'all continue to keep supporting. I'm going to continue to keep bringing content. I got to go because I got to go to work and I got to go do some things. But I want to say thank you again to you guys. We're going to cut the show right there. And any